Hello, everybody, and welcome to the conversation on loneliness. I want to make a series about loneliness because I think it's one of the things that we struggle with as a society the most. Why I think we feel lonely most of the time is because of two possibilities. Either somebody we have chosen has not in turn chosen us, or we don't have anybody who we feel we want to choose or we feel will choose us. And by choose us or be chosen or we choose them, by choice, I mean the person we choose to spend time and energy on, the person we choose to contact, take some effort out, take um, some energy. When we are chosen by other people, they contact us. And often that can give us a temporary cure for loneliness or a temporary ease of the loneliness feeling, but it doesn't cure it. What it does is it allows us to feel chosen and to feel validated. Like I'm important, I matter, somebody cares. But if I don't in turn choose that person, there's no connection, or at least not a valid long-term connection, something I can trust and rely on. So loneliness comes from people choosing us that we don't necessarily want to choose back, people not choosing us who we've chosen, or having no one to choose. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have people in our lives. Oftentimes, we feel lonely when we're in relationship with someone. Oftentimes, we feel lonely when we have friends, maybe several friends. Oftentimes, where we feel lonely when our family isn't doesn't act the way we hope they would, or we want them to, or maybe they've done things that we don't like, maybe to us. Loneliness comes from many different varieties, from many different places, but it adds up to the same thing. We feel a lack of connection to someone else. We can feel lonely if we only have one friend, because that friend isn't always available for us. Even if that friend is our spouse or our partner, they're not always available for us. So we can feel lonely if we only have one friend. We can feel lonely if there's only a handful of people in our life that we care about, and there's lots of times when I don't feel like I can reach out to them. We feel lonely in any moment where we don't feel there's somebody to choose who will then choose us back. And that doesn't mean we don't have anybody in our life at all. It just means in that moment we don't have somebody we can choose who will then choose us back. And that's where loneliness comes from. And because loneliness can come from a lot of different places, there is a large variety of solutions to loneliness. And all of those solutions include variations of the same solution, the same result. Essentially, the solution is to choose someone. And if you're feeling lonely and the people you would normally want to choose aren't available to you, then your job, your quest becomes find more people to connect with. And there are a number of ways you do that, depending on the loneliness you're feeling and what the spot is you're trying to fill with connection with other people. We are a social creature. So those of us who say, I don't care what other people think, I don't need other people in my life, are usually feeling a serious, severe version of loneliness. They felt rejected, hurt, damaged, even preyed upon, even taken advantage of or victimized. And that's because the connections that you've tried to make are with people who've chosen not you, but what you can do for them. The people who've chosen you haven't chosen you, they've chosen the thing you can do for them. There's a difference. Now, friendships and relationships are a symbiotic give and take scenario. So there always is something you can do for me and something I can do for you. However, that isn't the reason we connect. We connect because there's a soul to soul or heart to heart feeling. We enjoy each other's company. Now, it's hard to enjoy somebody's company if there's nothing they can do for me or do for you. However, what they can do for you isn't necessarily the only reason you connect. We don't connect just because there's something I can do. There's something I can do is one of the reasons we want to connect, but that heart to heart feeling is the main reason. And what we're searching for, what the solution is to find more people that you can sit down and talk with, visit with, hang out with, be around, be present with. Either in person or over the phone or through text or through video. There's many ways to connect. It doesn't always have to be in person, and many people won't accept connections unless they're in person. And I offer you that you could be missing out on some of your best connections by limiting them to people who you can meet in person. Some of my best friends are people I've never seen in person, but I've talked to them on video. I've talked to them on phone. I've talked to them through Messenger. I've talked to them through text. I've talked to them in many, many different ways, often for a long time. Now I know the red flag that's coming up for some of you is how do you know they're the person who they say they are? Well, even if they're not using the right profile picture that is actually them, and maybe they're not sharing their real name, but heart to heart connections don't require a picture or a visual or a name. You can connect to somebody heart to heart by getting to know what's in their heart. That's what the heart cares about. The heart doesn't care what their name is or what their picture looks like. And most of my friends who I have not seen in person, I have seen on video. I've shared video with them at least a few times, and many of them many, many times. There's one community I'm a part of that I've met these ladies once a week for over a year. And sometimes we've met outside of that meeting on other video calls. So, many of my friends, I do know who they are, but not because I've seen them in person. Connections we make, I choose them, they choose me, or they choose you and you choose them. Those are the connections that help us feel not alone. At any given time, I can connect some of my friends, whether they're in person or online. And because this is COVID right now, most of them I'm connecting with not in person. Even the ones that I would normally have connected with in person, I'm connecting with through phone calls or messages or some other version. Now, the type of connection is less important than the value of the connection. What you give and what they want. They choose you and you choose them. That's important. That's what cures loneliness. That's how you get rid of loneliness. And over the rest of this series of videos, I want to talk about some of the ways that we feel lonely and some of the ways we can fix our loneliness. Some of the reasons people leave us and some of the reasons people connect with us. Some of the reasons that we might choose to keep a connection that we might not otherwise choose. And some of the reasons we might choose to lose a connection we might otherwise keep. I'm going to dig into this subject of loneliness, and I'm going to talk about my experience and the experiences of my clients and friends and some of the people that I know. I won't give names and details, but I will talk about some of their experiences from a general point of view to help you understand how you can feel less lonely. All right. I'm Coach Andy. I hope this is helpful, and I hope the rest of the series will be helpful to you too. Thank you. We'll talk to you later.